And then the following morning, I'll look at this same video and it'll have 5 views or 7 views or randomly 22 views or whatever. And it's like, huh. So did people come by and visit it like while I was sleeping? So are my most enthusiastic fans just on the opposite side of the planet? So that no matter what, if you're just at the right opposite side of the planet, like in the right spot, no matter what time I go to bed at or wake or go to sleep at, it'll always feel like you don't see my stuff until it's been the next day, you know? Because you won't have had. Anyway, shout out to you. Thank you very much, whoever you are. Let's get to it. I'm in a mood today, folks. The world's on fire, and we had a beautiful moving thing happen this weekend, which I'm embarrassed to tell you. I'm embarrassed to tell you this. I knew that there was plans and like there was grassroots movements to start organizing, and that big protests were on their way. I thought I would have heard about them. I did not see anything promoted. I did not see anything sent. I did not get anything sent. I guess I'm not in on the in crowd. For as much as I get accused of being part of the pro-democracy left-center electorate, I'm not. Like, I'm really not. I feel guilty, though, that like I was just blissfully unaware and just doing my own thing and didn't even really catch on that there had been a big protest until like the end of the weekend / into this week. It's now Tuesday. I'm like, the shoe's really dropping. I'm like, oh, wow, that was huge. That was an epic, huge thing. That wasn't just a significant protest in a city or 2 or 3. That was a nationwide movement that should not be undervalued or underplayed and should not be dismissed. And is exactly what they're going to do. They're going to be like, whatever, nobody cares. In fact, they're already doing it. They're doing it all over social media, which is funny. When someone, let me just put this out there, okay, real quick, in case people who might tune into this, or in case I can make a magic movie loop of this that gets around and hits some people and changes some minds. If you're the kind of person that needs to post, the compulsion is there inside of you to go out of your way to type into someone's comment thread, nobody cares. What you're really telling the world is that you're choosing not to care. And that reveals more about you than I think you realize. And I think you don't care. But as someone who literally does not give a flying fuck about what other people judgmentally and or bigotedly think about me as a self-defense mechanism, I also care very much and do have some fucks to give about like the inverse, like healthy caring and healthy investment in genuine like empathy and compassion and caring about the problems that other people face, maybe even a little bit, especially when I'm so lucky as to not be facing the same problems. So it's not the flex you all think it is. And I don't know how much they are just pretending not to understand the psychology it reveals about them, or if they really do just not understand. Either way, those of us who do understand, like, see it and see it clearly, and you're not fooling anybody besides yourselves. The most tragic thing about the gaslighting going on in our society right now is that it's self-inflicted damage. There's a lot of gaslighting going on, and people on all sides of the debate are being targeted with gaslighting type gaslight. But it seems to be doing a weird thing where it just saturates and then like backfires on the group that is trying to gaslight the rest of everybody else. Like, the people gaslighting in support of Donald Trump only are fooling themselves. They are not gaining new converts. You can't talk You can't talk anyone down from having realized what a mess it has been from day one, and it is continuing to get more messy and more complicated since. And I mean like day one, his first term. The way it's really hard to get people who have realized how empty and meaningless the majority of organized religions really are, and how much they stray from and completely miss the mark of the original teachings and the intent. Now, I know it's a weird parallel to make, but it's there. And it seems clear as day to me, and painfully obvious. But yeah, it goes on. Here we are. It continues, friends. So, huzzah to everyone who protest. And kudos. How demure. How does the rest... What's the rest of that? And now passe TikTok internet reference. How demure. How charming? No. How something. It's a three-parter. And I love three-part bits, and I don't have the bit in my head. But congratulations. Like, I don't know how many people turned out, but it looks like it must have been millions upon millions of folks. And this brings up a tragedy, like, you know, huge crowds and like Trump's comedically bizarre obsession with crowd size. They have built up the sycophants and the pro-Trump establishment has built up from the beginning the mythos. Like, Trump himself has bullshitted hard about this. His crowd sizes are the biggest ever, and blah, blah, blah. I don't think that MAGA has clearly understood that the core of their group, that constituency, as far as we can tell based on surveys, despite their mythology of being the, quote, sleeping or silent or, you know, quiet majority or they aren't. Like, they never have been. From every survey I've seen, the people who are hardcore MAGA, people who are like always Trump is God's, they constitute between like 9 and 15% of the American population at large, right? What the left versus right ampersand right versus left double-barreled treadmill-driven echo chambers want everyone caught up in running and arguing and tugging of war in those echo chambers to just ignore is that the active what's the term? Like, the people, like the number of people who vote when combined between all parties, left, right, and the spectrum of independents and whatever, alternative parties, which are relatively small, you all still are a minority in the country. There is a massive plurality / a growing majority of people in this country that do not vote, have never voted, and many of them adamantly refuse to ever vote. And you can judge and think whatever you want about that choice, but to ignore the reality that they are the majority, that the non-voters, those who are eligible to vote, mind you, I'm not talking about anyone that is ineligible to vote, and that fallacy, that made-up bullshit, malarkey, fear-mongering, that any party is using people who are categorically unable to vote for them is just astoundingly, like, debunked and disproven thousands of times over. And blatantly false. And I can't believe it just keeps spreading. But yeah, there are vastly more there's so many more Americans that do not vote for whatever reasons and are eligible to vote could vote in a heartbeat if they just went and registered and showed up at the polls. And do not, arguably probably will not, ever, for whatever reasons. And I'm not judging, and I'm not bringing that up as an excuse or a scapegoat. I'm just saying, dear MAGA, you were never a plurality, let alone some slumbering, undiscovered, unrecognized majority. You're just loud. And you're led by complainers and whiners and provocateurs that are even louder. And that they love to make it sound like y'all have majority rule. And you do not. It's a fantasy. It's a complete made-up fallacy. And the quote, leftist or Democrats or progressives don't have the majority either. They have the function. When you look and compare them in terms of like the functioning infrastructure of politics, they're almost evenly split. And like the left has a slight majority. But obviously, there's this political tug of war that's been going on forever. As long as I've been observing politics here, as a conscious thinking person and asking questions, it's been wildly strange to me that there is this Punch and Judy show vibe about the left wing and the right wing. And anyone who observes birds closely enough will let you know that both of those wings are attached to the same fucking animal. And metaphorically speaking, the left wing and the right wing of the American political spectrum are attached to the same effing machine. And while they may stand for different things, quite literally, and that some of that political argumentation may be totally legitimate, they are both still doing whatever it is they're doing and conducting whatever fight they're fighting in function of that system, right? Well, hello. I see we've got some things going on the screen. I'm so used to just rambling and nothing happening because we hardly get any viewers. I'm going to be sad if this is just another cut and paste, blah, blah, blah. Grace Carries 47. Hello, dude. Hello back at you, dude. I am for the record, in case anyone doesn't know, I am a registered, what's the word I'm looking for? I hate it when I can't remember words. I am not licensed. Dang it, wrong words. Get out of the way. Ordained. I am an ordained minister of the Latter-day Church of Dudeism. So, hello, that's why the robes, actually. On days I'm feeling particularly spiritual and dude-like. Hello, my dude-arinos. Welcome. I really admire your content and would love to be your friend and a fan. And if you're cool, feel free to... look at you with your script, spam. Why do I get this exact same message 11 times a week and then they never actually talk to me on Discord? For anyone who genuinely wants to communicate and or coordinate with me about anything, my Discord is right there on my profile. So click on it. And if you're not on Twitch, because when I say my profile, I mean Twitch, TikTok has solo link, and you can click on that and find my Discord link on my solo page. Have at it. I don't use Discord for anything other as a place to, when I remember, also send my TikTok videos to when I'm doing that. TikTok mini videos. So, blah, 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 blah. You will be sent a warning. Violators of the Twitch platform's terms of service and or end user license agreement are not tolerated here. No solicitations of any kind for sale